Bit lang po nila yung documentary evidence of payments sa ICFAO upon receipt na nila nung kanilang AOM. And then dun po sa aming notice of suspension upon evaluation of their responses dun sa aming AOM at kasama na rin po dun yung documentary evidence of payments. So dun na po namin nakita yung mga payment of rewards na cash, medicines, and in various goods. Tapos nakita din po namin yung mga purchases nila na walang visual receipts or sales invoice na supporting document. And then yung mga date po ng payment ng kanilang acknowledgement receipts ay naka-date po ng December 2023 at yung iba po ay walang date. And then Your Honor, may I be allowed po to refer to the NS for the...
Thank you, Mr. Presiding Officer. This is very important because it shows that the agency were given chances, 3 stages para mag-submit ng hinihingi po ng ating COA.
Kindly wind up, Senator
Yes,
Judge
this is the last
Villanueva.
question, Mr. Presiding Officer. Thank you.
Yun po, Your Honor. Doon po sa NS po namin, nagkaroon din po kami ng findings na mas malaki yung amount nung kanilang expenditure based on the acknowledgement receipts compared to the accomplishment report ng 150.
Which was not present in the AOM.
Yes po, Your Honor.
Thank you. Salamat po, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator Judge Villanueva. Senator Judge Risa Ontiveros is recognized. You may proceed, ma'am, when you're ready. You have 2 minutes.
Salamat po, Mr. Presiding Officer.
Yeah.
Mr. Witness, para klaro po sa mga nanonood, kapag pinag-uusapan po yung confidential and intelligence funds, chinecheck pa rin po ng COA kung paano ginastos yung pera. Tama po ba?
Yes po, Your Honor.
Okay, so ibig sabihin, kahit confidential ang tawag sa confidential funds, kailangan busisiin pa rin yung pinagkagastosan. Tama po?
Yes po, Your Honor. Kasi public funds po siya.
Kasi public funds. Okay. Ngayon, yung mga resibo na hinihingi nyo sa COA, again, para sa mga nanonood, para saan ba talaga yung mga resibong iyan?
Kailangan po kasi naming malaman kung talagang bumili po sila nung kanilang mga binili, Your Honor.
Okay. Kailangan malaman nyo kung talagang binili
Yes po.
yung sinabing ibinili.
Opo. At
At
doon lang po namin makikita yun sa official receipt or sales invoice po.
okay, OR o kaya sales invoice. At hindi lamang sa mga AR.
Yes po, Your Honor.
Okay. Unless nga para dun sa pagbili o pagpabayad ng information.
Yes po, Your Honor.
So, importante talaga na makapagsumite ng mga dokumento at resibo ng mga di umanong pinagkagastosan.
Yes po, Your Honor.
Okay. Sa kaso po ba ng OVP at ng DepEd, nakapagbigay po ba sila ng mga kompletong dokumento at resibo na hinihingi ng COA?
Ang tanging period lang po na, sa pagkakalam ko na mayroong documentary evidence of payments based on may stay sa ICFAO o yung 4th quarter of 2022. At based po dun sa kanilang documentary evidence of payments for that period, wala po silang sinamit na official receipt or sales invoice. Tanging mga acknowledgement receipts lang po.
Okay. So yung mga supporting documents na required, hindi ko po pwedeng tanungin kung kaagad nilang naibigay dahil hindi po naibigay yung ibang supporting documents.
Yes po, Your Honor.
Ni isa po within any time period after na dapat nilang sumitihin yan.
Yes po, Your Honor.
Okay. So, hindi ko rin kailangan tanungin kung kumpleto ba ang ibinigay dahil hindi ba kumpleto ang ibinigay nilang mga dokumento at resibo?
Pwedeng pa ulit po ng tanong.
Kumpleto ba o hindi kumpleto yung ibinigay nilang mga dokumento at resibo?
Hindi po kompleto, Your Honor.
Hindi kumpleto. Now, according to the joint circular, kailangan ng evidence of success for rewards payouts. So, itong tinatawag na evidence of success for rewards payments, naibigay po ba ito ng OVP?
Hindi po, Your Honor.
Naibigay po ba ito ng DepEd?
Katulad nga po ng sinabi ko, yung sa OBP lang po yung may DEPs na naabutan ko.
Alright. Pero hindi po naibigay ng OVP, yung evidence of success for reward
Opo.
payments.
Pero i-clarify ko lang din po, since ako po yung nag-initially evaluate noong first and second quarter ng DepEd, based po dun sa aking mga na-evaluate na documents, wala din po silang sinubmit na documentary evidence of payment. Documentary evidence na of success of the surveillance activities or information gathering activities po.
Okay. At sa simpleng salita, bakit importante itong evidence of success sa rewards payments?
Diyan po kasi malalaman kung valid ba yung naging payment nila ng rewards po.
So kasi dito sa acknowledgement receipt, makikita natin marami-rami po ito, no? Nakalagay na kapag claim sila ng reward. So huling tanong ko sa inyo, Mr. Witness, sa round na ito, ibig sabihin sa itong evidence of success for rewards payments, patunay na meron tayong napala. Merong napala ang gobyerno sa mga operasyong iyan.
Yes po, Your Honor. Kaya po namin ni-require na i-submit po yun.
Alright. Salamat, Mr. Witness. Salamat po, Mr. Presiding
Thank you,
Officer.
Senator Judge Ontiveros. Before recognizing the Honorable Padilla, Chair, yes, Senator Lacson, after Senator Soto, I believe. Chair would like to inform the councils for the parties that you may take your seat unless a question is thrown at you by a Senator Judge so that you can relax. It goes for both parties.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your
Next to interpolate, Senator Judge Padilla. You may proceed when you're ready, sir. You have 2 minutes.
Maraming salamat po, Ginoong tagapamahal ng hukom. Meron lang po ako mga tanong. Maiksi lang po ito. Saan po kayo pinanganak?
Sa Nueva Ecija po, Your Honor.
Nueva Ecija. Opo. Saan po kayo nakatira ngayon?
Sa Manila po.
Manila. Saan po kayo nag-aral?
Central Luzon State University po, ng accountancy, and then
Saan
Arellano po, University ng Juris Doctor po.
Okay. Saan po kayo nakaikot na sa bansa natin? Nakaikot na po ba kayo ng Mindanao, sa Bicol?
Marami na po akong naikutan, hindi ko na po maalala lahat, Your Honor.
Opo. Kayo po ba yung nakarating na sa BARM?
Yes po, Your Honor.
Opo. Saan po sa BARM? Sa Sulu? Sa Basilan? Maguindanao? Hindi niyo po matandaan?
Hindi ko
Mauubos
po
po yung oras ko.
matandaan, Your Honor, kung saan.
Bicol po. Nakaikot na po kayo sa Bicol?
Yes po, Your Honor.
Saan po sa Bicol? Sa Camarines Norte?
Sa Camarines Sur po.
Sur? Sa Norte, hindi pa po.
Hindi ko po maalala kung
Nakaikot na po kayo sa mga bundok.
Saan po, Your Honor?
Mga bundok.
Yes po, Your Honor.
Nakita niyo na po ba ang pangangailangan ng mga tao sa malayong lugar? Katulad ng gamot. Katulad po ng pagkain.
Wala naman po akong na-observe, Your Honor.
Ayun, wala. Hindi po kayo exposed. Exposed po ba kayo sa threat ng terrorism sa bansa natin? Nabalitaan niyo po ba ang ISIS, ang NPA, ang Abu Sayyaf? Exposed po ba kayo doon sa mga balita?
Sa news po, may
Sa
mga
news.
nabalitaan po ako, Your Honor.
Opo. Alam niyo po ba na kung gaano nakagrabe ang terrorism?
Wala po akong threshold, Your Honor, to determine that.
Wala po. Pero kayo po ang humahawak ng investigasyon patungkol sa confidential fund. Tama po ba?
Hindi po siya investigation, evaluation po.
Evaluation. Nako, tama-tama. Ibig po sabihin, kahapon po, sinabi ninyo na gumawa lang kayo ng preliminary investigation. Tama po ba? Preliminary inquiry.
Hindi po, part po siya ng process namin na mag-issue po kami ng AOM.
Opo. So, ibig po sabihin, kahapon kasi narinig ko parang yung ginawa nyo, preliminary lang.
Yung AOM po, preliminary lang.
Opo, hindi po yun konklusyon.
Kung ang tinutukoy niyo po ay yung... Meron po kasing provision as to the joint circular as to tinatawag na prima facie.
Pakisagot na lang po kung conclusion ba po yun? Final?
Hindi po kasi we require
So, hindi
them.
po final.
Based
Boss,
on the
konti
AOM
lang po.
po.
Konti lang po oras ko. Hindi po final.
Sa AOM po, yung AOM po hindi pa final.
Hindi po final. Opo. Kayo po ba ay naniniwala na ang mga confidential agent dapat magpakilala? Sabihin ng kanilang mga totoong pangalan?
Wala pong provision as to that po sa joint circular, Your Honor.
Opo. Kayo po mismo, palagay niyo po, sa personal po ninyong pagkakaintindi, ang mga confidential agent dapat po bang magpakilala?
Since that calls for an opinion, hindi po ako authorized to express that, Your Honor.
Ano pong definition niya ng confidential?
Based on the joint circular po, ang confidential expenses ay yung...
Hindi po expenses, confidential lang po. bilang kayo po ay abogado, ano po ang pakakaintindi nyo sa confidential?
I'm classified po, Your Honor.
Okay. Boss, sa next na lang po akong round.
Thank you, Senator
Salamat
Judge
po.
Padilla. You may avail of the second round. Next would be Senator Judge Marcos. You are recognized, ma'am. You may proceed when you're ready. You have 2 minutes.
Thank you very much, Presiding Judge. Okay, kanina sinabi mo na hindi ka umabot doon sa notice of disallowance pero andun pa rin sa ICBAO nung na-release yung notice of suspension, di ba?
Yes po, Your Honor.
Okay. So, doon sa notice of suspension, katulad ng disallowance, nasabi mo, kahit wala ka na ron, you were made aware kasi nabalitaan mo, pinagbawal ba ng COA yung mga confidential expenses dahil peke o fictitious, gawa-gawa lang yung mga AR?
Anong pong notice yung tinutukoy niyo po, Your Honor?
Doon sa mga AR ng OVP, meron bang sinabi na gawa-gawa lang, hindi tunay, peke?
Dahil hindi po yan yung focus ng audit namin, wala po kaming basis para magkaroon ng findings po doon sa mga sinasabi niyo.
So ang sagot, no. Walang sinasabi na fictitious yung AR. At doon sa AOM, pati sa suspension, ganun na rin sa ND, sinabi ba ng COA na yung AR and documentary evidence of payments, yung DEP, peke, falsipikado, huwad?
Since hindi po yan yung focus ng audit po namin, wala po kaming findings about that, Your Honor.
Sinabi ba doon na falsipikado yung DEP at saka yung AR? Na it was forged, kumbaga?
Wala pong ganong findings, Your Honor.
Wala rin, di ba? At doon sa mga pangalan ng mga recipient ng award, tama ba ako sa pagkaintindi na hindi rin sinita ng COA yung mga kakaibang pangalan tulad ng Mary Grace Piatos, Andy Lim, etc. Ang sinabi at binanggit talaga ng COA ay yung mga datos na hindi tumutugma. Tama ba?
Since what we do is compliance audit po at wala namang provision yung circular as to the use of aliases, yes po, wala po kaming findings about
Kasi
that.
sabi mo nga, neither allowed nor prohibited. Tama po. So, doon sa AOM at sa notice of suspension, the names of these reward recipients was never raised by COA. Di ba?
Yes po.
Tama. Dahil nangyayari talaga na kakaibang pangalan ang binibigay kapag confidential or intelligence fund. Kaya isa pang tanong ko, dun sa notice of suspension, pati na rin sa ND, ang pagkaintindi natin, final ba ito o hindi?
Kapag sinabi po kasing notice of disallowance under the joint circular, meron na pong obligation to restitute agad.
Tama, final siya sa COA. Pero kahit ang desisyon ng COA, pwedeng dalhin sa Supreme Court para maging pinal na pinal. Di po ba?
I-clarify ko lang po, kapag dumating na po kasi sa Supreme Court, ang tanging ground na lang po dyan ay grave abuse of discretion amounting to lack or excess of jurisdiction. So wala na pong kinalaman po yung factual matters.
Ganun nga, talaga naman na matters of fact, hindi naman rin na-raise sa Supreme Court, tama ka doon. Pero hindi pinal. Pwedeng dalhin sa Korte Suprema. At no point are these final.
I-clarify ko lang po, yung decision po ng COA to restitute ay hindi po apektado nung pag-file sa Supreme Court. So kahit mag-file po sila ng petition for certiorari sa Supreme Court, kailangan na po nilang ibalik kaagad. Kasi yung pendency po ng petition for certiorari, hindi po niya na-stay yung obligation to
Naintindihan
restitute.
natin yon, pero hindi pa tapos ang kaso. Pwede pang dalhin sa Korte Suprema, hindi po ba? At saka dun sa notice of suspension, balikan ko lang, was there a finding na ginamit sa pansarili yung mga confidential funds ng OVP?
That is a presumption po under joint circular.
Misappropriated ba yun?
Kindly wrap up.
That is a presumption
Judge
po.
Marcos.
Hindi po kailangan directly sabihin kasi nagkaroon po ng presumption.
Pero hindi sinabi. Sa madaling sabi,
Pero dahil
wala
presumption
talagang
po siya, hindi po siya kailangan sabihin, Your Honor.
Naintindihan ko, pero wala doon. Is there a COA finding na ninakaw ang confidential funds doon sa various AOMs and notice? Meron bang sinasabi doon na ninakaw? It was stolen?
There is a prima facie evidence na nagamit po siya for personal use or benefit under the joint circular.
Kaya nga.
Kindly wrap up, Senator Judge Marcos.
Yes,
You're gonna bail of
I
round
am
two.
done, but I have questions kung may second round.
There will be a round two, and I will register you, Senator Judge Marcos. Thank you. Senator Judge Ejercito is recognized. You may proceed, sir, and When you're ready and you have 2 minutes.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Presiding Officer. Siguro dagdagan ko na lang din nun. Ito tayo tinatanong na rin yung tungkol doon sa mga paggamit ng mga alias sa ating mga senator judges. No? Dahil alam naman natin na kinakailangan din na lehitimong may pangangailangan na protektahan. No? Dahil nga confidential itong mga information. Ang sa ilalim ng Joint Circular number 2015-0, paano dapat maprotektahan ang pagkakakilanlan ng mga confidential informant?
Wala pong provision as to that, Your Honor. Kasi yung, wala po namang requirement yung circular as to the, pwede po ulit po ng tanong, sorry.
Well, yung hindi kasi parang alam naman natin, no, dahil lalo na sa mga intelligence at saka yung mga activities, mga confi, ginagamit yung mga alias, no, nabanggit nyo rin kanina. Hindi ba pwedeng gamitin na lang, halimbawa, John Does, Jane Does, o Juan de la Cruz kasi alam naman natin na binambibili at reward for information na syempre pinoproteksyonan din natin yung mga pinoproteksyon ng mga agencies yung identity no ng mga informants.
Ang masasabi ko lang po, Your Honor, wala naman pong provision as to the joint circular sa use ng aliases kasi silent po yung joint circular.
So tanggap 'yon. Halimbawa nakita niyo medyo parang yung mga pangalan mukhang alias lang ay tinatanggap dahil pag intelligence gathering.
We base lang po dun sa document submitted to us. So, kung wala pong naka-indicate dun sa document submitted to us na alias po yon, hindi po namin malalaman, Your Honor.
Tapos meron ding dapat may coordination paggamit ng intelligence or confidential fund. May coordination with law enforcement agencies, tama po ba?
Yes po, based on the joint circular po, Your Honor.
So, doon po, tanong ko lang po, meron po bang o may nakita po ba kayong naganap na coordination with the agencies, no? Of course, yung PNP, PAP, PDEA at iba pa, NBI na ginawa ang halimbawa OVP in this case sa kanilang paggamit ng confidential funds para sa sinasabi nilang confidential programs.
Based on the documents submitted po sa ICPA, wala po, Your Honor.
Dahil sinasabi ng ng joint circular, kung di ako nagkakamali, na kailangan may proper coordination ang paggamit ng confidential funds with these law enforcement agencies.
Yes po, based po on the joint circular, Your Honor.
Isa ba ito sa mga findings ng COA sa IOM o sa audit observation memo or notice suspension or notice of disallowance na inilabas laban sa OVP, yung walang coordination?
Wala po kaming naging findings about dyan, Your Honor.
Last, Mr. Presiding Officer, doon sa course ng iyong audit, Mr. Attorney Wamil, did you see any evidence o may ebidensya ba kayo na si Vice President personally ang tumanggap, ang nakakuha o nagbenepisyo doon sa Confidential Intelligence Fund?
Based on the documents po, wala po, Your Honor. Wala po akong personal knowledge about that po.
So para sa record, for the record, just last point, Mr. Presiding Officer, sa pagkakaroon o kawalan ng ebidensyang nagpakita ng personal na pagtamanggap na kinabang ba ang isang opisyal ng pamahalaan sa pondong bayan ay sapat na? O upang matukoy kung may umiira na pananagutang administratibo, sibil o kriminal?
Under the joint circular po kasi, since si OBP po, si head of the agency po yung may responsibility to oversee kung paano gamitin yung confidential fund and to ensure yung compliance nila dun sa joint circular, then the accountable person din po si head of the agency, Your Honor.
So last question,
Kindly wind up.
Mr. President. Upang maging malinaw ang inyong testimonya nang sabihin ninyong wala kayong nakitang ebidensya na ang pangalawang Pangulo mismo ang tumanggap, nagpanatili o nakinabang sa confidential intelligence, inilahad lamang ba ninyo ang inyong audit findings at hindi kayo nagbibigay ng legal na konklusyon hinggil sa pagkakaroon ng kawalan ng pananagutan? Is it based on your audit findings or legal conclusion hinggil sa pagkakaroon ng liability?
Based po sa audit findings, Your Honor. Kasi nilalagay po namin yung persons accountable dun sa aming ini-issue po.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Presiding Officer.
Thank you, Senator Judge JV. Before recognizing Senator Judge Soto, Attorney Wamil, just on the point of Senator Judge Marcos, to clarify, the decision of COA with respect to any appeal is final, is executory but not final even if it is appealed before the Supreme Court, correct?
With respect to the obligation to restitute po, kahit magkaroon ng pendency ng petition for
Attorney
sa-
Wamil, listen to the question, please.
Okay,
It is,
Your Honor.
unless a TRO is issued by the Supreme Court, it is executory but the decision is not yet final. Would that be correct?
Yung decision po, final na, Your Honor. Kasi
Inappeal nga sa Supreme Court, paano magiging final? Ikaw naman.
Ay.
A decision of the COA
executory na po, Your
appealed to
Honor.
the Supreme Court is executory unless a TRO is issued but is not yet final.
Yes po, Your Honor.
That is a correct statement.
Opo.
Thank you. Senator Judge Soto, you are recognized, sir. You may proceed when you're ready. You have 2 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. President, Mr. Presiding Officer, Mr. Witness. In your testimony, August 3, upon direct examination by the prosecution counsel, you were presented representative samples of selected forms. The question 845 acknowledged receipts, if I remember it right. Correct ba yun?
Yes po, Your Honor.
All right. Sinabi nyo na kayo ay gumawa ng observations doon sa mga acknowledgement receipts nito kung saan ilan dito ay pinagagamitan ng confidential funds ay hindi naaayon sa Joint Circular 2015-01. Ngunit may mga acknowledgement receipts according to how I recall it na wala naman kayong observations, ano?
Yes po.
Sapagkat ang pinaggamitan ng pondo ay naaayon sa nasabing circular. Tama ba?
Yes po, Your Honor.
Alright. Halimbawa, yung acknowledgement receipt ni Mary Grace Mary Grace Piatos na 70,000 for medicine, walang supporting documents. Kaya gumawa kayo ng observations.
Yes po,
Tapos
Your Honor.
yung doon naman kay acknowledgement receipt ni Janice Marie Trevilla, 70,000 at Patty Ting na 150,000. Wala kayong observations. Dahil ang pondo ay ginamit sa purchase of information na pinayagan o allowed ng nasabing circular. Tama ba?
Yes po, Your Honor.
That's the way I recall it. All right. Okay, now, ito ngayon ang tanong ko. Out of these 845 acknowledgement receipts na pinag-uusapan sa kasong ito, ilan ang nagawa nyo ng observations dahilan sa kawalan ng supporting documents?
Hindi ko na po matiyak kung ilan yung exact number po, Your Honor.
Ilan ng, well, then my next question will not be answered because tatanong ko, ilan yung walang observations?
Pwede po ako mag-refer sa tabulation po, Your Honor.
Please.
You can refer to your tabulation table that was earlier marked. Assisting counsel, can you show him the previously marked evidence pertaining to his tabulation or summary? Assisting counsel for the respondent may also approach, should he so desire.
Your Honor, I'll have to count po since wala pong summary dito.
What do you mean? You have to count the 845.
Yes po, Your Honor.
Wala kang percentage man lang.
Since personal notes ko lang po ito, Your Honor, raw tabulation lang po siya.
So you would not have a, gaano katagal nga abutin niya kung bibilangin mo? Kasi my next question actually would be, magkano ang total noong meron kayong observations? At magkano yung wala?
If the chair may assist, Attorney Wamil, look at your notice of suspension. You may observation ka, I presume, pertains to those rewards, payment of goods and medicines that you made observations to and suggested to be suspended. So I presume it pertains to those ARs.
Yes po, Your Honor, pero amount lang po kasi yung naka-indicate po doon.
And the total is
Sa 845, Mr. Presiding Officer, ilan ang total? Magkano yung total? Sa 845.
May I be allowed po to peruse po yung notice of suspension?
you
Your Honor?
may refer to it.
Papayag na kasi ko sa ballpark figure, basta't bigyan mo lang ako ng kasagutan. Anong total nung 845? Ano yun? 125 million?
Out of the 125 million, ilan po?
Your Honor, please.
Let's wait for the witness counsel to answer. He's referring to your marked exhibit, the notice of suspension. I believe it's on the first page, Attorney Wamil.
Sa first page po, with respect to the payment of rewards po, 59,787,000 pesos po, Your Honor. With other purchases naman po, umabot po siya ng around 15 million pesos, Your Honor.
So ilan yung walang observations? Wala kayong observations.
Bali, ang total po ng may observation namin ay around 75 million pesos po, Your Honor.
75 million sa may observations. So around 50 ang mga walang observations. Ganun ba?
Yes po, Your Honor.
And all right. So that is for the 125.
Yes po, Your Honor.
I don't have any time anymore, so it's okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Judge Soto. Senator Judge Lacson may proceed with his interjections when he's ready. You have 2 minutes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Presiding Officer. Good morning, Attorney Wamil.
Good morning po, Your Honor.
Kindly refresh my memory, no? Kasi ang pagkaalam ko, sa paggamit ng intelligence saka confidential fund, hindi lamang sa pinapayagan o hindi pinagbabawal ang paggamit ng alias, kundi necessity for practical reasons, di ba?
Yes po, Your Honor.
And idadivert lang yung totoong tao nasa likod ng mga alias kapag declassified na o tapos na yung tinatawag na confidential or intelligence operations. Tama, di ba?
Yes po, Your Honor.
So ang tanong ko, wala ba kayong efforts na alamin kung sino yung mga nasa likod ng mga aliases na sinabit sa inyo?
Since document-based lang po kami, Your Honor, hindi na po. Wala na po kami.
Yan ang susunod yung tanong. Ano? Bakit paper audit lang kayo? Wala kayong physical? Parang bitin yung inyong pagsasagawa ng audit. Kasi paano nyo malalaman kung legitimate yung pumirma doon sa acknowledgement receipts kung hindi nyo inaalam kung meron bang totoong tao na nasa likod noong mga aliases na yon?
Opo. Since what we do po in ICFAO po is compliance audit lang po, Your Honor. So kung ano lang po talaga yung provisions na nasasaad dun sa joint circular, yun lang po talaga yung ginagawa namin, Your Honor.
That brings me to my next point. Baka pwedeng i-recommenda mo na i-amend nyo yung inyong JMC.
Yung ibang ahensya na ino-audit ninyo, gumagamit rin ba sila ng alias?
We wouldn't know po kasi yun, dun sa mga document na sinasubmit sa amin, hindi naman po naka-indicate if it is an alias or not.
And it's not up to you to find out whether these are aliases or not.
Yes po, since wala nang pong provision dun sa joint circular, Your Honor, with respect to the
Okay.
aliases.
So itong paggamit ng alias, to your knowledge, hindi nyo alam sa mga ino-audit ninyo, but to your knowledge, gumagamit ba ang ibang ahensya ng mga alias?
I wouldn't know po since katulad nga po, hindi naman po, bukod dun sa sinasubmit nilang documents, wala pong naka-indicate na yung name ay alias po.
And the position of COA is hindi ito bawal pero hindi rin to pwede.
Yes po, kasi silent po yung joint circular, Your Honor, as to that.
Okay, but your appreciation is totoong tao ito. Kasi may pirma. Tama ba? Lahat ba ng AR may pirma?
Sa pagkakaalam ko po ay meron naman po.
So kung alias at di ko naman pangalan to, pipirmahan ko pa rin. Or pag alias ba ay dapat wala nang pirma.
I wouldn't know po if it is an alias since wala naman po naka-indicate dun sa document that it is an alias po.
Okay, and we'll give the defense their time later on during their part to talk about this more, no, as part of their strategy. Sige, let me change topic. Ito yung mga tanong ni presiding officer, ni Senator Cayetano rin. Yung pag-escalate from AOM to notice of suspension, to notice of disallowance, to referral to the ombudsman for cases. Years ba ito? Time ba ito? Oras ba ito? Ano yung decision point ninyo para iakyat to the next level yung or i-escalate to the next level yung mga utos ninyo?
May clarify po kung ano po yung next level po.
So from AOM to NS and NS to ND and ND to referral to OMB.
Kapag AOM po, meron po silang 15 days to reply to the AOM. Tapos kapag hindi pa rin sila compliant with the findings po, that's the time that we issue a notice of suspension. At kapag naka-receive po si agency ng notice of suspension, meron po siyang 90 days within which to comply. Pero pag hindi po rin po sila compliant, then doon na po kami mag-i-issue ng notice of disallowance.
Okay. In general, not the case of the OVP and DepEd, kapag may notice of disallowance na, naniningil na kayo, di ba?
Yes po.
And the next step is to refer to the ombudsman.
May remedy pa rin po naman si
Okay.
agency.
Paki-explain nga ano
Which
ba
is
yung
to
remedy?
settle, bayaran yung amount or to appeal
Within?
within 180 days po from the date of receipt po ng disallowance.
Okay. So we will find out with the next witness when that notice of disallowance was at kung pasok pa rin sa 180 days. Kung wala pa rin sa 180 days, then you refer to the ombudsman?
Yes po, kasi pag hindi po sila nag-appeal at hindi rin po sila nagbayad, nagiging final po yung decision and that's the time na we refer na po to the Office of the Ombudsman kapag hindi po sila nag-comply.
At meron ka bang knowledge about the status of these disallowances right now?
Wala po, since confidential po yan, hindi naman po yan ina-announce sa buong COA, so I wouldn't know po.
So let me ask the prosecution, final question. Is that the next witness? Is that going to be the testimony of the next witness? Itong disallowance, 180 days na lumipas, at kung may referral to the ombudsman?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Presiding Officer.
Thank you, Senator Judge Bamakino. Next will be Senator Judge Marcos for her interjections. Thereafter, Senator Judge Risa. Kindly prepare. You may proceed, ma'am. When you're ready, you have 2 minutes.
Yes, maraming salamat, Ginoong Pangulong Hukom. Itutuloy ko lang yung tinatanong ko kanina dahil may nabanggit kayo ng presumption of misappropriation. Tama ba? For personal use.
Based on the joint circular po, meron po.
Oo, tama. Pagkatapos nun, tinitingnan ko yung joint circular at maliwanag that the presumption for misappropriation arises against the accountable officer. Di ba?
Yes po.
Against the accountable officer. Sino ang accountable officer? Maliwanag naman yung joint circular. Sa 3.1, sabi, yung officer whose duties permit or require possession of government funds. Hindi ba?
Based on the joint circular po, may ganyang provision.
Oo. So yung SDO talaga, yung Special Disbursing Officer has the possession, the custody. Tama yun, di ba?
Yes po.
O kung ganon, if the presumption na personal use, ayon sa 8.3 ng Joint Circular, failure of the accountable officer to liquidate any public funds is tantamount na nga to that presumption. Hindi
Yes
po
po.
ba?
Yes po.
So, ang tanong dito, sino ang accountable officer dito sa sitwasyon na to? Kasi ang liwaliwanag na hindi naman si Vice President ang payee. Hindi naman sinasabi na nasa kanya yung pera. ang liwanag sa inyong joint circular that the special disbursing officer is the one who was designated by the head of agency to have custody, di ba? And in the case of the OVP, si Acosta yon. In the case of DepEd, hindi ba si Fajarda yon?
That is not entirely correct po, Your Honor. Because under the joint circular, it shall be the responsibility of the head of the agency first to approve yung cash advance. Pangalawa, to
Oo
oversee yung agency-wide utilization. Pangatlo, to ensure compliance with the joint
Unresponsive
circular.
po.
And also po, inattest din po ni OBP yung
Unresponsive po. Ang tinatanong ko lang, hindi ba yung designated, yung SDO, si Fajarda lang at si Acosta, hindi si VP, hindi siya yung PE eh. Ang liwa-liwanag.
pero ang sinabi niyo po kanina yung accountable officer.
Kaya nga, so yung accountable officer, yung SDO, nasa JC
Hindi lang po
eh.
si SDO po yung accountable
Hindi,
officer,
or,
Your Honor.
ang sabi doon, head of agency or person designated. Oo, ang liwanag sa definition ng joint circular. Mag-yes or no ka lang, kanina ka pa inaaway mo ko lagi.
Sorry po, Your Honor. But hindi po ako pwedeng mag-answer categorically since yun nga po yung provision
But it's categorical.
na yes or
Why don't
either
you go
yes
back
or
to your
either
joint
no po.
circular?
Yo po. Kapag sinabi po kasing
Doon
categorical,
sa
it's either yes
definition,
po
ang
or...
liwa-liwanag, SDO kapag na-designate ng head of office, di ba?
But hindi po kasi doon na nalilimit lang yung term na accountable officer kasi may other provisions na applicable pa din po with respect to the term accountable officer.
Asan? Kasi napakaliwanag doon sa definitions, napakaliwanag sa 8.3 ng joint circular.
Yun nga po yung na-mention ko kanina.
Interpretation na ninyo yun,
hindi
pinapalawak
po.
ninyo andun eh. Head of office,
Hindi
head
po.
of agency, or designated.
Hindi po, Your Honor. Kasi yun nga po, nakalagay po doon sa...
Sabi mo kanina yes, ngayon no naman.
Wala po akong sinabing yes po,
O
Your
sinabi
Honor.
mo kanina, oo, SDO nga in charge.
Sinabi ko lang po kung ano yung... Kinonfirm ko lang po kung ano yung SDO po, Your Honor.
Attorney Wamel, kindly avoid arguing with
I
Senator
apologize
Judge
po, Your Honor.
Marcos.
Sige
Sorry.
po.
And kindly wind up, Senator Judge Marcos.
Pwede lang itanong kasi nalito ako kahapon. Kahapon sinabi mo na si VP Sara lang ang first and only vice president that you audited na may confidential funds. Hindi ba? Sinabi mo yun, di ba?
Yes po, Your Honor.
Tapos, kahapon, nung pinakita ng depensa, yung SARO na si VP Binay, noong 22 December 2014, may binigay na 6 million kay VP Binay ang DBM. Alin ba ang totoo sa dalawang sinabi mo magkatunggali?
Yung pinakita po kahapon ay special allotment release order po. Ano. So nagkakaroon po ng special allotment release order kapag
Alam
merong...
ko kung ano ang SARO, matagal na, tumanda na po kami sa
Yes po.
gobyerno.
Pero hindi po kasi yan niliquidate sa ICFAO. So we wouldn't know if it was
Hindi,
used or
pero
not.
klaro, may katibayan na hindi ka isa-isang VP, si VP Sara.
Your Honor, since hindi po nagsabit ng liquidation,
Teka.
hindi din po...
Teka, nandun ka na sa ICBAO noong 2014, sabi mo, di ba?
Yes po.
O kaya nga,
Opo.
o di kahit si VP Binay may confidential funds, the only VP audited was VP Sara. Ganun ba yon?
Since si VP Sara lang po yung nagsubmit ng liquidation. Pero
Ba't hindi mo alam?
if I may clarify po.
Ba't hindi
Wind
mo
up.
alam? Nandun ka na noong 2014. Dapat
Opo.
alam mo yun eh.
If I may clarify po, Your Honor. Since wala pong budget dun sa GAA as to confidential fund at hindi naman po nag-liquidate si BPB9 nung kanilang confidential fund. So hindi pa namin alam kung ginamit and hindi na po nakarating sa
Hindi,
COA
ang
yung
tanong,
SARO po.
nabigyan ng confidential funds, humingi at nabigyan. May SARO eh.
We wouldn't know
Yun
if
lang
it is
naman ang
used po.
tanong eh. Of course, you know, may SARO. Sinabi mo nga, totoo yung sarong yun. Anyway, alin ang totoo? Si VP Binay o si VP Sara? Talaga bang totoo yung dalawa o iisa lang? We don't know.
Based on our records po, si VP Sara lang po yung may liquidation.
So maraming we don't know ang COA? Ganun ba yun?
Based on our records po, si VP Sara lang po yung nag-liquidate nung confidential fund.
May record nga ng SARO. Maraming salamat.
Kindly wind up.
Presiding Judge.
Thank you, Senator Judge Marcos. To clarify and finish that point, if there was no liquidation, there is nothing for COA to look at. But it's possible that indeed confidential funds were given to the former Vice President Binay.
Yes po, Your Honor.
So from your end, alam mo lang, wala kasi walang pinaliquidate sa inyo.
Yes po. And wala din po siya sa GAA po ng 2014, Your Honor.
Pero kung may saro nga na pinakita sa iyo kahapon at mapatunayan nila, ibig sabihin nun, meron pero walang niliquidate sa inyo.
Maaari po, Your Honor. Pwede po.
Yun lang naman yung tanging rason, di ba?
Apologies po, may apologies
hindi
po,
na-release.
Senator Ivy. So,
Next to interject is Senator Risa, thereafter Senator Judge Rafi Tulfo. Senator Judge Risa, you may proceed when you're ready. You have 2 minutes, ma'am.
Salamat po, Mr. Presiding Officer. So, to clarify further and confirm, hindi nagbigay ng evidence of success si Vice Presidente, pero lumabas ang pera at marami ang nakatanggap ng reward. Tama
based
po?
on the documents po, Your Honor. Yes po.
Yes, based on the documents. Now, based on your experience po, karanasan nyo bilang auditor, ano pang pinahihiwatig nito?
Pwede pong pakiclarify
Ano po yung pinahihiwatig na hindi nakapagbigay ng patunay ng success ng intelligence or surveillance operations, pero maraming lumabas na pera at maraming tumanggap ng reward?
Ang ibig sabihin po niyan ay hindi po nag-comply yung OBP po dun sa requirements ng Joint Circular.
Okay, so yun ang pahiwatig sa inyo bilang, sa karanasan nyo bilang isang auditor. So, ngayon na wala nga yung evidence of success, matitiyak pa ba ng COA na yung pabuya ay talagang napunta dun sa mga informants?
Hindi po, Your Honor.
Hindi nyo mapatutayan. O sige, pumunta naman tayo dun sa gamot. No? Di umanong gamot ang ibinigay na reward. So muli, sa karanasan po ninyo sa ICFAO, and based on your expertise, normal po ba iyon na gamot ang kapalit ng intelligence information?
Hindi po siya normal po, Your Honor.
Hindi normal. Naranasan nyo na po ba ito dati na gamot ang bayad para sa impormasyon?
Hindi pa po. First time po dun sa may OBP po, Your Honor.
Okay, first time po dito sa OVP. At ito pa yung palaisipan. Kung may sakit talaga yung tao, naimbestigahan niyo po ba sa ICFAO kung bakit kailangang magbigay muna sa ng intelligence information bago siya bigyan ng gamot?
Hindi po, Your Honor.
Hindi nyo naimbestigahan. So bilang auditor, ito po ba ay ifa-file sa ilalim ng pabuya o sa ilalim ng ayuda?
Pwede po kasing tingnan yan. Kasi since document-based po kami, pwede po siyang tingnan as payment of rewards, pero pwede rin po siyang tingnan as provision of medicine.
So pwede rin tignan as provision of medicine. So pwede rin siyang tignan na ayuda.
Kung
Hindi
yun po yung
pabuya.
ibig sabihin ng provision of medicine, pwede rin po.
Pwede rin. So kasi, paano yun? Yung mga informant po ba, most of the time, may sakit?
I wouldn't know po.
Natanong nyo ba kung ang gamot na yan ay para saan? Hika ba? Alta presyon ba? Diabetes ba?
Hindi po.
Hindi rin. And ayon po dito, si Mary Grace Piatos, ayon sa isang acknowledgement receipt, si Mary Grace Piatos ay nakatanggap ng 70,000 pesos worth ng gamot bilang pabuya. Ano po ba yung sakit niya?
Hindi ko po malalaman since wala naman po dun sa document po na sinamit.
Kindly wind up.
Will do,
Senator
Mr.
Judge Risa.
Presiding Officer. Pero may paraan po ba ang ICFAO malaman kung ano yung sakit niya? Kasi binayaran natin ito eh.
Pwede po namin tanungin, Your Honor. Pero since document-based po kami, kung ano lang po yung nasa document, yun lang po yung malalaman namin.
Document-based pero pwede niyong tanungin.
Yes po.
Okay. Kapag may mga hindi normal na pangyayaring ganito.
Yes po. Allowed po kami under 6.2.3.7 of the Joint Circular po.
Okay. Salamat, Mr. Witness. Salamat, Mr. Presiding Officer.
Thank you, Senator Judge Risa.
Mag-round 3 po ako kung meron po. Salamat.
Let's try to finish the interjections of Senator Judges before we pause for lunch so that we can resume with the new witness of the prosecution after lunch. Senator Judge Rafi Tulfo is recognized. Thereafter, Senator Judge Villanueva for the availment of round 2. You may proceed, sir, when you're ready. You have 2 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Presiding Officer. Mr. Witness, sa panahon na kung saan kabilang ka ng ICFAO at ikaw ay mga nag-audit ng mga ahensya ng gobyerno, meron ka na bang, bukod sa OBP at saka sa DepEd under VP Sara, meron ka na bang ibang agency ng government na na-issue niyo ng disallowance?
Sa pagkakalam ko, meron na po.
Ano itong mga agency na ito?
Hindi ko po pwedeng i-disclose. Your
Okay.
Honor.
At bakit? Bakit sila na-issue ng disallowance?
Dahil yun nga po, since ang basis lang po namin ay yung joint circular, hindi po compliant dun sa provisions ng joint circular.
Hindi compliant. Okay, so nung na-issue ng disallowance yung office ni VP Sara, ano yung naging tugon nila?
Wala na po akong personal knowledge, Your Honor, kasi wala na po ako sa ICFAO.
Okay. Nabanggit mo rin na ikaw nga'y pinuntahan sa tanggapan mo sa COA para magkaroon ng tinatawag na audit query. Yan bang kauna-unang pagkakataon lamang na meron government agency na pumunta sa opisina mo para makipag-usap sa'yo?
May mga agency po na nagtatanong, nagsisik po ng clarification with respect to the provisions of the joint circular. Pero yung OBP po yung first time na nag-ask po ng audit query.
OBP.
Yes po.
Okay. Noong mga panahon na pumunta sila sa inyong tanggapan, pinanganak na ba doon si Mary Grace Piatos? Hindi pa. Meron na bang Grace Piatos noon?
Hindi, wala po dun sa submissions nila po, Your Honor.
Wala pa. Okay. Nung puntahan ka ng Chief of Staff ng OVP at saka yung si Attorney na nandito ngayon, nakalimutan ko yung pangalan niya. Ayoko na pangitin. POA. Were you intimidated?
Wala naman pong ganun, Your Honor.
Good. And yun yung isang unang pagkakataon na sabi mo kanina na may pumunta doon para makipag-usap tungkol sa audit query.
Yes po.
Okay. Anyway, nothing personal to sa'yo, attorney. You're a good lawyer. As a matter of fact, dati nakausap ko siyang meron programang Wanted sa radyo, may problema tungkol sa DepEd, and I call him at sumasagot naman siya. At yung mga sinasagot niya sa akin, okay naman. And for that, hanga ako sa'yo. Doon lang sa programang Wanted sa radyo na mabilis kang lapitan at natutugunan mo yung mga problema nilalapit ko sa programa ko. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Judge Rafi.
Mr.
Senator
Chair.
Judge Joel.
Mr. Presiding Officer.
Yes, what is the pleasure
I
of
don't know if
counsel
this
for
is in order, so I would just like to ask if you would allow me to do so. But since I've always been, they're alluding, I was alluded to, and references were made to the meeting. If you could just give me maybe 2 minutes to just give context to that meeting. But if I'm not allowed to do so, then I will submit to the ruling of the presiding
Unfortunately,
officer.
counsel, no. That's why I also prohibited them from questioning you or
Yes, okay.
alluding to you in relation to any question.
I
You will
understand.
have the appropriate opportunity during your presentation of evidence in chief, if you do so, if you want to explain that meeting. Although I watched you trying to explain it yesterday already, which I will address later. But we will cross the bridge when you present your evidence in chief, Attorney Pao. You will have your chance.
Thank you. I respect that, Mr. Presiding Officer.
Senator Judge Villanueva, you have 2 minutes, sir. You may proceed when you're ready.
I'll help a bit. Is there anything illegal, improper to that meeting, Mr. Witness?
Wala naman po since
Thank you.
may mga agency naman po na nagtatanong din po sa amin.
Thank you. Sa item 4 ng Feb 1 na AOM na ginawa po ninyo, sabi po ninyo masyadong general ang socio-economic program delivery at hindi ito tinukoy yung specific confidential activities. Ano po yung minimum level na of detail na dapat ay nakasaad po doon sa PFP o yung physical and financial plan upang makapagbigay po ng ito ng tunay na authority at spending limit at hindi naman na inilalantad yung sensitibong operational information.
Based po dun sa joint circular, dapat naka-indicate po dyan yung specific programs, activities and projects po na pagbabasehan ng kanilang confidential disbursement po. Yung specific confidential activities po na kanilang pagbabasehan, since yan po ay plano, dyan po nakabase yung kanilang confidential expenses.
So the PFP is not merely a reporting form.
Yes po. Yan po yung basis for disbursement.
dapat po bang approve at sufficiently detailed yung PFP bago ilabas o gastusin ang confidential funds? Kung magbigay lamang po ng mas detalyadong paliwanag, for example, pagkatapos magastos yung salapi, maaari po ba nitong retroactively ma-cure ang kakulangan dun sa PFP? Sa original PFP?
Pwedeng pa ulit po ng tanong, Your Honor. Sorry po.
Ulitin ko lang Dapat po bang approve at sufficiently detailed na yung PFP bago ito ilabas o gastusin ang confidential funds? At kung nagbigay po sa pagkakataong ito ng mas detalyadong paliwanag pagkatapos magastos yung salapi, maaari po ba nitong retroactively ma-cure ang kakulangan sa original PFP?
Maaari po, Your Honor.
So maku-cure siya. Ngunit hindi ito nagawa. Kaya po natuloy yung AOM, kaya natuloy dun sa NS.
Yes po.
Nabanggit po ninyo na limitado yung space sa accomplishment report, kaya hindi po maipaliwanag ng ahensya kung ano talaga yung bawat purchase o expense. At dahil dito, tama po ba na hindi dapat ibase lamang ng COA yung kanilang findings doon sa broad labels lamang at kailangan suriin muna ang bawat transaksyon at supporting document?
Yes po, Your Honor.
Doon po sa 82 million na medical and food aid, 20 million na incentives of traveling, sinuri po ba ng COA ang bawat purchase at payment? Alin po dito yung supported at allowable sa ilalim ng item 4.8 at alin naman po ang unsupported o hindi allowable?
Ang pinagbasehan po namin ng findings yan is yung sinamit po nilang documentary evidence of payments po. Doon po namin in-evaluate if compliant ba yung si OBP dun sa requirements ng Joint Circular.
At alin po yung supported at allowable at yung hindi?
Wala pong data as of this moment po.
So you agree, sir, yung broad labels ng medical and food incentives do not by themselves show the nature.
May apologies, Your Honor, pero yung sinabi niyo po pala na provision of medical and food data at yung payment of incentives or traveling are per se, hindi po siya among the allowable expenses po.
Yun yung tanong ko.
Under
Thank you.
4.8.
Paki-explain nga po pa.
Dahil yung enumeration po under 4.8 na allowable expenses ay exclusive po. So kapag hindi po kasama doon yung kanilang expenditure, hindi na po siya allowed as confidential expenses po.
So yung limited space in the accomplishment report may result in incomplete or overly broad descriptions. Would you agree?
Yes po.
Kaya yung relevant question, Mr. President, is not whether the entire category was allowable or disallowable. The COA should be able to identify, at nabanggit po ng witness natin, to identify the specific transactions and amounts that were supported, unsupported, or outside the allowable purposes.
Yes
Tama po yun.
Yes po.
Magwawakas lang po ako, Mr. Presiding Officer, by saying, again, and I pounded this a while ago, importante na may independent, verifiable powers ang COA, hindi lamang dun sa documents na sinesend po sa kanila. Just to share my experience when I was in TESDA, dun sa, before the AOM came out, yung pong scholar, for instance, tinawagan po yung scholar, hindi ho makontak, nagpalit ho ng telephone number. Sabi, ghost na agad. So, ang hirap po nun. But dun sa AOM, na-approve, kaya hindi nag-issue ng notice of suspension because natuntun yung scholar. So, I hope that is very clear and would help our Commission on Audit in doing their job more efficiently. Thank you very much, Mr. Witness. Thank you, Mr. Presiding Officer.
Senator Judge Lacson, for his interjections, you may proceed when you're ready, sir. You have 2 minutes.
Within 2 minutes.
Thereafter,
Mr. Presiding
Senator
Officer.
Judge Padilla.
What is your level or security clearance level? Top secret being the highest, access sa documents, saka information, restricted being the lowest. Meron ka ba security clearance na nag-grant o na-issue para sa'yo?
Wala naman.
Well, you know, I assume na mataas yung security clearance mo kasi ang hinahawakan mo, ino-audit mo, confidential information, confidential funds, di ba?
Yes po, Your Honor.
So I wonder why wala ka security clearance. Kasi paano ka mag-audit? Kasi pag may intelligence project, naka-vault yan eh. Lahat ng aliases, yun ang nakalabas. Pero yung tunay na identities corresponding to the aliases, naka-vault. Pag declassified na, terminated na yung program, yung activity o yung project, intelligence project, pwede na ilabas yun kasi declassified na yun. So kung wala kang security clearance, paano ma-access? Yung tulad na sinabi ni Senator Subiri, quarterly, nagpapadala sa Senate President, Speaker of the House, ng intelligence and confidence. Paano ginastos? Kasi may oversight powers kami, di ba? So paano ka makakapag-audit properly kung hindi mo alam yung nature ng intelligence project or operation? Kaya kanina tinatanong ko, yung bang evidence of success per activity, ano ba, after surveillance report. And mind you cannot call it successful kung negative yung surveillance. Wala nakita eh, pero gumastos ng pera yon. So would you consider that another topic as a success or evidence of success, maski negative yung resulta ng intelligence information gathering, operation or activity, or yung after surveillance report. So kung walang result, negative, ano yun, hindi successful? Hindi pwedeng i-clear?
Nakalagay po kasi yung nature ng item is payment of reward. So dapat...
No. Pagka kasi nag-acknowledgement receipt, no? Halimbawa, bumiyahe, meron ding informant yung informant, ginasusan, o bumili ng sigarilyo sa sari-sari store, nagkape, kasi kausap yung informant. Wala ka makikitang... Oh, thank you, Mr. President.
Kindly wind up, Senator Lacson. Pati ako nabitin eh.
You may just respond na lang. We'll wait for your answer.
Ay, sorry po. pwedeng pa ulit.
Ulitin ko hindi lahat ng after surveillance report successful. Negative eh. Wala nakita. Pero gumastos.
Oh.
Hindi lahat ng intelligence gathering information successful. Kasi negative. Pero may gastos yun. How would you classify that? Evidence of success ba yun o hindi? These are practical questions Kasi galing ako dyan kaya alam ko yung kalakaran.
Opo. That calls for...
Yun nga wala ka security clearance kasi. Kasi naka-bolt lahat yan. Pagka intelligence project, naka-bolt. Pag declassified, terminated yung project, saka ilalabas yun. Nandun lahat yung mga tunay na pangalan ng mga aliases.
Opo.
Kumuha ka ng security clearance. Wala nga raw.
Next to interject would be Senator Judge Padilla. You may proceed when you're ready, sir. You have 2 minutes.
Maraming salamat po, Ginoong tagapamahal ng hukom. Susundan ko lang po yung mga tanong ko kanina, kabayan, Nueva
Okay.
Ecija. Opo. Yung una pong check,
And you said earlier that ngayon ikaw ay state auditor na ng COA, ICFAO. Intelligence and Confidential Funds Audit Office, correct?
Opo.
Okay. Can you tell us, before you became state auditor to this current position, meron ka bang ibang position sa COA?
Wala na po akong naging ibang posisyon sa COA.
And when did you start therefore? You're being a state auditor of the COA, ICFAO.
Nagsimula po ako noong August 26, 2014.
August 26, 2014. Okay.
Opo.
Just to remind us all, ano ba ang functions nung COA ICFAO?
Ang COA ICFAO po ay office under the Office of the Chairperson na nagtitake charge po sa audit ng intelligence and confidential funds ng mga government agencies po.
Okay. And what are these government agencies? that you have audited?
Ang mga na-audit ko po is mga local government units, government-owned and controlled corporations, at saka po mga national government agencies na kasama po dito ang Office of the Vice President at Department of Education.
When you say Office of the Vice President, who? Which Vice President specifically during your term, during your current position from 2014 to the present, which Vice President have you audited in terms of confidential funds?
Nung magsimula po ako sa COA, sa ICFAO, ang na-audit ko lang po na liquidation documents ng Office of the Vice President ay kay Vice President Sara Duterte.
Bakit siya lang, Madam Witness?
Dahil nga po from 2014 hanggang sa ngayon po, yung naisubmit po sa amin na liquidation documents is sa confidential fund po ni VP Sara.
Okay. Mga sinubmit sa inyo.
Opo.
You also mentioned na nag-audit ka sa Office of the DepEd, Department of Education. Sino-sino mga secretaries ng DepEd ang na-audit mo para sa confidential funds?
Sa DepEd naman po, ang na-audit ko lang po na liquidation documents na nasubmit sa office namin is liquidation documents sa confidential fund ni Vice President Sara Duterte noong siya ay Secretary of Education.
Okay, bakit? Bakit si Secretary of DepEd Sara Duterte lang?
Dahil po from 2014 to present, siya lang po yung Secretary of Education na may confidential fund.
Let's go now to your current function as State Auditor of the COA ICFAO. And you started when, Madam Witness? Kailan ka nag-umpisa dito?
August 26, 2014 po.
Malalam ba? Sino ang sinundan mo sa position na ito?
Pwede pong pakiulit yung tanong?
You started with this office in August.
Opo, tama po.
And when you started in August, were there any liquidation documents of the Office of the Vice President and the DepEd in that office?
Yes po, meron po.
And did you evaluate them?
Nung umalis po si Mr. Wamil, ako na po ang nagpatuloy ng audit ng mga liquidation documents po ng Office of the Vice President at Department of Education po.
Okay. And pag sinabi mong audit, anong klaseng audit ang ginawa mo or ang ginagawa ng office mo?
Ang audit po na ginagawa ng aming opisina ay post-audit po.
Tell us again, what is a post-audit?
Sa post-audit po na ito, natapos na po yung transaksyon at paggastos ng pondo. Doon na po kami mag-audit. Pag natapos na po ang transaksyon at paggastos ng pondo.
Natapos na yung transaction, nagastos na yung pera, ino-audit nyo. Anong ino-audit nyo?
Ang ino-audit po namin is yung utilization ng confidential and intelligence fund.
Okay. Ngayon, what were these documents that Mr. Wamil left and which you took over with?
Bale po, iniwan po niya sa akin ang mga documents ng OBP for the periods December 21 to 31, 2022. Kasama na rin po ang first to third quarters ng 2023. And for the DepEd po, iniwan din po niya sa akin ang mga documents for the first, second, and third quarters of 2023.
Showing to you, Madam Witness, a tabulation. Merong ginawang tabulation si Mr. Wamil at ito po ay minarkahan natin to cover exhibits P-1-8-1 up to P-1-8-848 covering 845 acknowledgement receipts for the period December 21 to 31, 2022. If shown to you, this tabulation, and the supporting acknowledgement receipts.
I think the court is inclined to allow for this one more opportunity to stipulate as to the acknowledgement receipts. Again, there is no it is not mandatory. The court is not forcing the counsel for respondent to stipulate on documents they refuse and don't want to stipulate. But since you have your own copies of ARs, and since the issue pertains to the chain of custody, after you submitted it to the COA, then the court would like to afford you the opportunity to compare it. Again, you need not stipulate on anything. You don't have to stipulate on a single one, but the court would rather give one more chance or one more time to try to do this, to save on the court's time, without prejudice, again, to the respondent or counsel for respondent saying that they refuse to stipulate because they are different from the copies that they have. Counsel?
Yes, Your Honor. Actually, we will agree to that proposal, Your Honor, but we provided, Your Honor, that we will not be forced to stipulate that the ARs are authentic, etc. And then the date and time, Your Honor, shall be mutually agreed upon by the parties.
Of course.
Of course, Your Honor. I think
Of course, the date and time should be mutually agreed upon between Thursday and Friday.
Your Honor, please. You asked for it.
Because
Your
insofar
Honor,
as
please.
this witness is concerned, or give me one date on one time slot on Thursday and Friday which you can agree on after we adjourn.
Your Honor, please. If I may add as well. In the marking of this exhibit, Your Honor, before the Honorable Clerk of Court, each acknowledgement receipt had 3 signatures. The signature of the Clerk of Court, the signature of one of the representatives for the prosecution, and the signature of the defense counsel, Your Honor. 3 signatures per document. And now they still they had signed each of these acknowledgement receipts, Your Honor. That's number 1. Number 2, Your Honor, perhaps to restore a level of trust on the side of the defense, maybe we can even use their own documents. If they do not trust the prosecution's documents or photocopies of the prosecution's documents, then we will use their documents, Your Honor, because we are certain that their documents is the same as our documents. Let's use the defense documents, Your Honor. Then they will not say, we do not trust these documents because it is their own defense documents. Maybe that will solve the problem of this court. We will use your documents, counsel. Will you still question using your own documents? Will you still question the authenticity of your own documents?
Of course not, Your Honor.
Okay.
Of
Then
course not,
maybe
counsel.
that is
but
a possible solution, Your Honor. Let us use the defense documents instead of the prosecution documents. Para wag na tayong mag-compare. Thursday, Friday, manonood pa ako ng Odyssey.
I'm sorry, counsel. The presiding officer was not yet elected during the pretrial, hence I did not know what went on during the pretrial. Apparently, the respondent or counsel for respondent has a different purpose and or intention with respect to the ARs from that of the prosecutor. Therefore, that's why they refused a common marking on the same AR.
Yes, Your Honor.
Is that correct? So they have their own set of ARs, and you have your own set of ARs that was marked during pretrial, correct, counsels?
that is correct, Your Honor.
Now, all that the court is asking is for an opportunity to be had by the parties once more to compare your respective marked ARs to be able to distinguish and find out if indeed they are the same or not, regardless of whatever purpose or theory each party may have with respect to presenting the ARs, given that they are common exhibits. We will not touch into that, counsel for respondents. So your concern with respect to authenticity and purpose will not be touched on. Only insofar as that it is the same AR that you received, it is the same AR that you sent to the COA, that you also have a copy of, that they are presenting. And insofar as ARs that you did not send COA or did not come from you, then you can point that out too, as the case may be or as may be appropriate. Again, without any pressure nor any mandate from the court for you to stipulate on all, just the opportunity to do so. Kindly agree on a date, councils, on a time rather, between Monday and Thursday. If that is not possible, then we will continue as we have this afternoon. But kindly agree on a date. Court so directs the parties to fix a date and be able to be present before the clerk of court to compare the ARs they separately marked and to confirm if indeed which ones are the same and which ones are different for whatever purpose it may serve both parties, given that they are commonly marked. So ordered. Hailin, sorry, babalik ka. Wala tayong magagawa. Court will have to wind up at this point because otherwise we will be continuing with this prolonged marking of evidence, which will not only bore the viewing public but the senator judges as well, the presiding officer and the Senate President included. So we will have to cut it short at this point in time and discuss already some administrative matters before we adjourn in time for our session. Yes, Attorney Gabunan.
Just one more ask, Your Honor.
Yes, ma'am.
Earlier in the proposal for stipulation, counsel for the defense was kind enough to stipulate on certain documents, Your Honor, except for 10 documents, Your Honor. Since this opportunity is given by this honorable court to compare, and we understand that their reluctance to stipulate on these 10 documents is because of their claim that it does not faithfully represent the originals, Your Honor. May we ask also that these 10 documents be perused during the period given?
If only to give it a second chance and a second look, given that not much time was given to the counsel for respondents to view it. They were only given 20 minutes. So, yes, the court will allow it to allow the respondents more time to go over it for possible stipulation. Again, no pressure, Attorney Christine. You don't have to if you don't want to. You don't have to if you don't wish to. But the court just wants to give it one more shot to save on the court's time. So ordered.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Now, before the court makes a ruling on the motion for judicial notice, the court promised to hear and listen to the counsel for respondents, either in writing or orally. I have been informed by the clerk that no responsive pleading was given by the counsel for the respondents. So I guess you will be
Your Honor, please.
orally arguing the motion.
If I may, Your Honor, please.
Beforehand, I guess you will be orally arguing on the motion for judicial notice, counsel? Attorney Christine?
We are ready, Your Honor.
Your Honor,
Again,
please.
just to hear your side. Yes, Attorney Kabunan.
At this juncture, Your Honor, I respectfully turn over to our public prosecutor and head public prosecutor, Chairman Jinky.
Yes, thank you, Honorable Luistro. Before I recognize you, Ma'am Hailin, you are excused. Sorry po. You are excused, but you are ordered without need for the issuance of another subpoena to appear once again before this court on August 10 and 11. 10, so in open court, you are directed to appear here once again on August 10. We will be issuing another subpoena should we require your presence again on August 11 onwards. Do you understand, ma'am?
Yes po, Your Honor.
So magpapakita po kayo sa Lunes uli nang wala ng subpoena.
Yes po, Your Honor.
Salamat po. Your excuse, ma'am, and thank you for your presence and cooperation this afternoon and your patience. Now, this won't be oral arguments. The court, the chair just wanted to hear from the counsel for respondents. So really, this will not be oral arguments between the parties. Yes, what is the position of the council for respondent insofar as certain records of the House Good Government Committee and Public Accountability Committees, if I'm not mistaken? Attorney Christine, you'll be arguing?
Yes, Your Honor.
You may proceed, ma'am, when you're ready.
Thank you, Your Honor. The defense would like to oppose the motion for judicial notice on the following grounds. Number one, the judicial notice rule cannot be taken of disputed matters. Number two, the respondent must be given an opportunity to be heard by way of cross-examination before the court admits in evidence the matters covered by the TSNs, the video recordings, and the committee reports. And number three, the proceedings before the HOR, COJ, were questioned by the respondent before the Supreme Court as a fishing expedition and mini trial. On the first point, Your Honor, judicial notice cannot be taken of disputed matters. In Juan versus Juan, the Supreme Court defined judicial notice in this wise. Judicial notice is the cognizance of certain facts that judges may properly take and act on without proof because these facts are already known to them. Put differently, it is the assumption of a court of a fact without need of further traditional evidentiary support. The principle is based on convenience and expediency in securing and introducing evidence on matters which are not ordinarily capable of dispute and are not bona fide disputed. While the CGGPA and HOR COJ hearings were made public, we do not dispute that, Your Honor. The matters discussed within them, which were documented via the TSNs, video recordings, and committee reports, are not facts automatically admissible in this impeachment trial. Rather, they remain assertions that must be proven by evidence. We note, Your Honor, that Article 1 of the Articles of Impeachment alleges the following: that respondent, Vice President Sara Z. Duterte, committed culpable violation of the Constitution, graft and corruption, and betrayed public trust through the systematic misuse, misappropriation, and irregular liquidation of confidential funds amounting to 500 million pesos, released to the Office of the Vice President, and 112.5 million pesos released to the Department of Education. Clearly, Your Honor, these are not just statement of facts. These are accusations of misuse, misappropriation, and irregular liquidation of confidential funds, which must be proven by the prosecution through presentation of evidence. In fact, Your Honor, if you noticed, the prosecution in paragraph 1 of its motion for judicial notice admitted that, I quote, prior to the transmittal of the articles of impeachment to this honorable court, the House of Representatives, through its Committee on Good Government and Public Accountability and its Committee on Justice, conducted official hearings on matters that ultimately formed the factual basis of Article 1. We highlight that, Your Honor, ultimately formed the factual basis of Article 1, which is the misuse and misappropriation of confidential funds. Okay. Article 1 of the Articles of Impeachment, as a continuation. These proceedings were officially documented through transcript of stenographic notes, or TSNs, official audio-visual recordings, and committee reports. I am just reading, Your Honor, I'm just referring to the motion of the prosecution. Thus, we cannot take the TSNs, the video recordings, and the committee reports as they are, Your Honor, without cross-examining the witnesses of the prosecution. The impeachment court cannot just take the utterances, testimonies, the questions and answers, and the interpellations during the COJ and the CGGPA hearings as factual findings and statements of truth without going through the usual route of evidence presentation. In fact, Your Honor, we are even unsure whether these videos are spliced, edited, or shortened, with due respect, and whether the TSNs are accurate, unedited, or modified, as portions of the TSNs turned out to be different to our transcribed notes, which leads actually, Your Honor, to my second point. That because the matters covered by the pieces of evidence, Your Honor, which the prosecution would like this court to take judicial notice are exactly the matters that are being heard before this impeachment court, the respondent must be given an opportunity to be heard by way of cross-examination before the court admits in evidence the TSNs, the video recordings, and the committee reports. The requirement of due process is basic. It is the opportunity to be heard before the court. And affording the respondent the opportunity to cross-examine to cross-examine the authenticating witness serves a dual purpose, Your Honor. First, it validates the existence of the video recordings, the TSNs, and the committee report. And second, it verifies their accuracy and completeness. The Constitution explicitly guarantees the respondent's right to ensure that these pieces of evidence have not been altered, edited, or modified to fit the prosecution's narrative of Article 1. Consequently, the respondent is fully entitled to have all the observations, the objections, and cross-examination questions placed on record before the court admits these documents in evidence. It is also a matter of record, Your Honor, that the videos that the prosecution would like this court to take judicial notice were not played during the pre-trial conference, Your Honor. And it is with the understanding between the parties that there shall be subjected to proper authentication and identification during trial, consistent with the rules of court. And third, the respondent has directly challenged the House of Representatives Committee on Justice proceedings before the Supreme Court, Your Honor, characterizing them as a mere fishing expedition and an unauthorized mini trial, Your Honor. Consequently, the respondent declined to participate in these proceedings, maintaining that the HOR-COJ lacks the jurisdiction to conduct these trials. Under Article 9, Section 3, Paragraph 6 of the Constitution, the respondent submits that exclusive power and authority is vested solely with or in the Senate, Your Honor. That's why a petition for certiorari and prohibition was filed by the respondent before the Supreme Court. So we cannot stipulate, Your Honor, on the matters that were taken up in a proceeding that the respondent challenged before the Supreme Court. But crucially, Your Honor, the petition pending before the Supreme Court challenges the proceedings before the HOR-COJ only and not the actions of the Honorable Impeachment Court. This distinction, however, does not preclude any future legal challenges against actions that this court may take while sitting as an impeachment court. The respondent, Your Honor, was consistent in her position, Your Honor. In fact, in a letter dated March 24, 2026, the respondent through counsel informed the HOR-COJ that she cannot attend the mini trial and the fishing expedition being done by the said committee because of the committee's apparent lack of authority under the Constitution. The closing paragraphs of the letter state, and I will read the closing paragraphs for the record. In light of this, while the invitation for the respondent and counsel to participate in the committee's mini trial is well noted, we cannot, however, do so at this point on the ground that the committee and/or the HOR, as well as any of its members, lack jurisdiction to conduct any form of trial or exercise any of its incidents. Absent such jurisdiction, any attempt to proceed in the nature of any form of trial or invoke powers ancillary to it is unconstitutional. Consequently, the respondent puts on record her objection to any requests, motions, or similar efforts aimed at obtaining or fishing for supposed evidence through processes that necessarily presuppose the existence of lawful authority and jurisdiction under the Constitution, which in this case is absent. As timely stated in the appearance and consolidated answer, both made ad cautelam, the respondent does not waive any jurisdictional or other objections she has to these proceedings, nor her right to seek the appropriate legal remedies. Nonetheless, she is prepared to meet the charges against her in proper jurisdiction. And because of that, Your Honor, the court must decline to take judicial notice because the very validity and authority of the the House of Representatives COJ proceedings are currently challenged before the Supreme Court. Now, on closing, Your Honor, on its face, actually, the motion may look like a plea for this honorable court to take judicial notice of the purported official legislative acts described by the prosecution. However, Your Honor, if you really examine the motion, Your Honor, in reality, however, the motion is actually akin to a public prosecutor, the House of Representatives, asking the criminal court, here the impeachment court, to take judicial notice of the complaint that was filed before the fiscal, here the HORCOJ, and all matters related thereto, including those that transpired during the preliminary investigation without the need for presenting witnesses in court. That is actually what the prosecution is doing in our view, Your Honor. Dahil ang mga pandinig na ito sa House of Representatives ay siya mismong paksa ng paglilitis ng hukumang ito, at ayon mismo sa prosecution, those hearings became the factual basis for Article 1 of the Articles of Impeachment. Nararapat lamang po na ang mga TSNs, video recordings at committee reports na naglalaman ng mga tanong ng kongresista, pati na ang mga pahayag at sagot ng mga testigo ay patunayan ng prosecution sa pamamagitan ng pagpresenta ng testigo upang magpatunay sa katotohanan ng mga ito. In closing, Your Honor, would like to quote the Supreme Court in Juan versus Juan. The Supreme Court said, the article in the website cited by the RTC patently lacks a requisite for it to be of judicial notice to the court because such article is not well and authoritatively settled and is doubtful or uncertain. It must be remembered that some articles appearing in the internet or the websites are easily edited and their sources are unverifiable. Thus, sole reliance on those articles is greatly discouraged. The defense opposes the motion, Your Honor, on identical grounds. Salamat po.
Again, these are not all arguments, counsel. Chair had anticipated the position of the counsel for respondent. In fact, Chair would like to clarify. The Juan versus Juan case is the Labandera Co case, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ito yung Labandera Co na kumpanya na nireklamo violating copyright standards. Hindi ba na nag-judicial notice yung korte sa isang internet website na may copyright daw yan?
Tama po.
That is the case. Okay, Chair will now make his ruling. First, with respect to the motion to set the conference for marking objected to by respondents insofar as number 3 is concerned. P4-35 to P4-35B, but did not object to the others. So the request for transfer of markings this afternoon, insofar as the unobjected portions are granted, insofar as the objected portions are concerned, Chair will make a ruling. We will furnish the respondent and the prosecution with the written copy of the ruling through the journal of this court. The Chair will now resolve the panel of prosecutors' motion to set the conference for the transfer of exhibit markings, particularly on exhibits P-4-35 to P-4-35A and P-4-35B, which refer to the portions of the purported affidavit of Arturo Las Cañas. And after considering the objections of the chair of the respondent, the objection is hereby denied subject to the following guidelines and reasonings. Section 34, Rule 132 of the Rules of Court provide, the court shall consider no evidence which has not been presented or formally offered. The purpose for which the evidence is offered must be specified. Accordingly, the marking, identification, or authentication of a document does not mean that the document has been formally offered or admitted for the purpose it was so stated. The physical transfer of an exhibit, designation from a provisional copy to its corresponding original or certified true copy is even more limited. It is a mechanical and ministerial act intended only to maintain the orderly identification of the court's records. The respondent is not prejudiced by this transfer. The transfer does not alter the substance or evidentiary status of the document, referring to the Las Cañas document. It does not constitute a ruling on the authenticity, admissibility, or evidentiary weight, and it does not enlarge the purpose for which the document was originally marked. The respondent therefore loses no substantive or procedural right by reason of the transfer and may raise all appropriate objections when the document is formally offered. This conclusion is consistent with the prosecution's own representation during the July 21, 2026 hearing, wherein the Honorable Luistro stated, quote, "Your Honor, the document is being presented only to seek confirmation from the witness that he is referring to this particular document as part of the investigation of the Special Task Force. We are not presenting it to prove the truthfulness of the contents of the affidavit." Close quotation. The chair likewise previously ruled, quote, "Again, this is only as to the fact that this is what the NBI used in their open investigation and coming up with their findings, not as to the truth of the statements being read by Director Matibag." Close quotation. The chair further clarified on even date, July 21, 2026, the chair will cut short any further identifications of the witness in regard to this affidavit. This is only as to the fact that Las Cañas executed a document that they used in their open source investigation, not as to the truth of what was said. The limitations remain controlling even after the transfer of the marking of this exhibit to a certified true copy. Exhibits P-4-35, -35A, and -35B remain merely independently relevant statements only to establish that the document came to the attention of and was used by the NBI in its investigation. It may not be used as proof of the truth of the allegations stated therein. As stated in Espinelli versus People, GR number 179-535, dated 6/9/14, when the relevant fact is merely that a statement was made, the hearsay rule does not bar proof of that fact, regardless of the statement's truth or falsity. Finally, the transfer of the markings does not cure the defects already placed on the record. The purported affidavit remains unsigned, unnotarized, and not made under oath, with no witness having attested to its execution and truth of its contents. The contents of the affidavit at this time remain hearsay, the transfer of the markings notwithstanding to a certified true copy of that document. Accordingly, the clerk of the impeachment court is directed to set the requested conference as requested, I think, this afternoon, if I'm not mistaken, at 4 p.m. Now, on the motion for judicial notice, the chair will make a ruling, will grant the motion with a reminder, a stern reminder and warning. The court acting on the motion for judicial notice dated August 3, seeking judicial notice of the existence and official character of the hearings and the corresponding transcripts, audiovisual recordings, and the committee report identified therein. Section 1, Rule 129 of the rules provide, a court shall take judicial notice without need of the introduction of evidence of legislative, executive, and judicial departments of the National Government of the Philippines. As stated in CLT, the case cited by the counsel for the prosecutors, there is such, referring to a Senate committee report. The court took judicial notice of the Senate committee report, but only as to the existence of the committee report and not as to the content and truth of what was stated in the committee report. Therefore, accordingly, the court grants the requested judicial notice to be taken by the court, but solely and exclusively limited to the following facts. Number 1, that the legislative hearings were actually held and under the official function of the House of Representatives, Committee on Good Government and Public Accountability, and the Committee on Justice. So to reiterate, just as to the factual existence that the hearings were indeed conducted. Number 2, that the corresponding transcripts, official audiovisual recordings, and committee report exist as official records of the proceedings and in a separate rule, therefore enjoy the regularity of official proceedings absent contrary proof that there is either fraud, falsity, or inaccuracy. and therefore which will overcome the presumption of regularity. With a warning, having granted the motion only within the foregoing limits, the chair now states in unmistakable terms the precise effect of this ruling and reminds the prosecution, and should the time come, also the respondent, if they happen to cross this line also, Rule 129 is captioned, "What need not be proved." Therefore, the court states with precision what the prosecution need not prove, only with respect to those two things. Nothing else is judicially admitted or established. The prosecution is therefore expressly, it says warned here, but I would rather say reminded, that judicial notice shall not be used as a vehicle to place into the record substantive contents of the transcripts, recordings, or committee report. It is not a substitute for the presentation and formal offer of competent evidence, nor does it dispense with the applicable rules on authentication, hearsay, relevance, and the right of the respondent to object and confront the evidence presented against her. As the Supreme Court held in Magkamit versus IAS, PIDEA, GR number 198140, 12516, fair play requires that the respondent be given meaningful opportunity to rebut all the evidence presented against her. Therefore, consistent with the chair's prior ruling on July 21, in relation to the Las Cañas document, a witness will not hereafter be allowed to read in open court a third-party statement that is not his or her own, as the respondent would be denied the opportunity to rebut those statements and cross-examine the statements made by a third party. Again, to reiterate, the court does not take judicial notice of the truth of any statement made during the hearings, the correctness of any factual allegation, or the validity of any finding or conclusion in the committee report. Those matters remain subject to proof, objection, and the court's independent evaluation of their admissibility and/or evidentiary weight at the proper time. The prosecution shall not represent expressly or impliedly that this ruling establishes the truth of any matter contained in the identified records. Any attempt to use this judicial notice given for that purpose shall be rejected by this court, and the parties accordingly shall be duly reminded in course. So ordered. There being no lead prosecutor, your witnesses for next week, before we call it a day, a rainy day.
Your Honor, we would like to submit the name of the following witnesses for next week. That is August 11, August 12, and August 13. August 10, 11, and 12. One, of course, is Silene May L. Del Campo from COA ICFAO, our supposed witness today. Two is Marivic Pareja from Legislative Information Resources Management Department of the House of Representatives. Three is Gina S. Acosta, former Special Disbursing Officer of the Office of the Vice President. And the fourth, Your Honor, is Edward D. Fajarda, former Special Disbursing Officer of the Department of Education. That is all, Your Honor.
Let the corresponding subpoenas requested ad testificandum and/or ducis tecum, as the case may be, issue to the aforementioned witnesses for the dates and times given and requested by the lead prosecutor for the impeachment trial next week. Again, counsel, just a reminder, if you will be having documents that you would want opposing counsel to stipulate on, kindly give them a copy at least a day before so that they can already manifest in open court their agreement or disagreement with the proposed stipulation. Counsel? Yes?
We confirm, Your Honor.
Thank you. Any other matter you wish to mention, Attorney Christine?
None from my end, Your Honor.
Before the chair adjourns, there being no other business to be taken up by the impeachment court at this time, the trial is hereby adjourned until 10 a.m. of Monday, August 10, 2026.